What's up, guys? Hopefully everything is continuing to work. Like I wanted to. Alright, guys. Hello. Let's do some coloring. Finish this ditto. I forgot my coffee. Okay, got my coffee. Let's go. We were too young to love. Chats are open. Hope everyone has had a great weekend. Mike, hello. You're the first one I've seen join today. Hope you're doing well. Sorry for calling you out on the spot there. Hope that's okay. Might have to change my angle on my webcam now. I'm supposed to hold my hands the way I usually do. Fine. Hey guys, how's it going? Nola, Alexis, hello. Thanks for joining. Hope you guys are having a great day, had a great weekend, spring break. There's spring break here. I'm not sure when everyone gets a spring break. So. After this drawing, I'll be taking more sketch requests, so. And I haven't decided if I'm gonna do like one a day or if it's gonna be one a day or maybe like multiples a day, depending on how fast I get them sketched out. Since this one is meant to be a little bit more on the reflective, realistic side, it's taking just a little bit longer. To keep it consistent. But the tan on this is also kind of part of it, of the reflection. It's kind of the idea. And guys, I'm trying to get up to 1,000 followers. I know that seems like a high goal. It's just something I have to throw out there. It's not necessarily anything I want to do. I want to be humble, but I have to ask. If you can, go ahead and throw my share link out there. I'd very much appreciate it if anyone likes Pokemon and Ditto, or just wants to chat. But right now, this is how I'm kind of sort of making a living. I wouldn't say I'm really making a living, but trying to. And the more follows I get, and 1,000's, and I'll tell you why I picked 1,000. The reason primarily is that TikTok has a kind of like a requirement that you have 1,000 followers so you can get some added features in a stream key. And that's what I'm trying to obtain. Now granted, I could probably almost supplement all my income if I had even more than that, depending on what they ask me to do, but that's where I'm at. Anyways, if you can support the stream by just giving it a share, a like, tons of hearts, hugely helpful, but only if you want to. I honestly don't expect it. Thank you so much for liking the page, guys. The page, channel, whatever. I hope you guys like this kind of stuff. I will try to move my webcam out so you guys can see it better, but TikTok is glitching and causing me all sorts of headaches right now. So I'm trying to kind of beat their bug a little bit by getting viewers and followers, get up to that 1,000 mark. So guys, thanks so much. If you like Ditto, if Ditto's one of your favorites, let me know in the comments. That's one thing, like, I don't always know everybody's favorites. I have a request to do a Dedenne, or Deden, I can't remember how you pronounce that one. Kind of looks like Pikachu, but it's like a mouse. And I
it's a next evolution. I don't think it's one that evolves at all. They want me to do an evolutionary one. So, I just got back from Comic-Con, and I couldn't believe how many Mimikyus, how many different variations there are. There's like Mimikyu Flareon, Vaporeon, there's Mimikyu Pikachu's, like with, it's almost like the reverse, where it's like, how do I put it? Like Pikachu was wearing some of those things. It was really cool. Anyways, I didn't realize how popular Mimikyu was, so I had a really hard time deciding which stuff I wanted to get, and I decided on nothing. I'm gonna look out there and see what there is, and I'll be honest, I'm kind of broke. I was invited to go to Comic-Con, so yeah, it's kind of just where it's at. Almost accidentally bumped into Andy Serkis. He does Gollum and all sorts of other characters and acting out on the street. That was kind of, I was very half tempted to be like, hey, I want to say hi, but yeah, being broke, I only got to kind of look at him from afar, so bummer, but oh well, not a big deal. There's always next year, and I'm hoping that things go a little bit better in my favor by then, I guess. But yeah, so Ditto's one of my favorites, mainly because he can morph into anything, and I like that. But I just think it looks kind of cool. I really liked that movie, Flubber, when I was a kid. Ditto kind of reminds me of that. I think on my next one, I'll change up the color and its abilities a little bit. And it might look a little undersaturated. In person, it does not. So if I turn it up too much on the camera, it becomes really grainy because it's a filter, so I don't want to do it too intensely. It just blows everything out more than it already is because I'm using a older webcam. I need to upgrade and see if I can't get a 4K one. But because I think that would help. Yeah, this process of trying to get this to look smooth and not so grainy, I mean, it can be a tiny bit because this is reflecting. Oops, I knocked my page. It's reflecting on there. Get that set back. I'm just using my kneaded eraser here as a trusty holder. Works out really well in a pinch. So guys watching, thank you so much for the likes. I really appreciate it. I can't tell you how awesome it feels to have some support for this. Again, it really does mean a lot. If you guys haven't followed, please do. I'm gonna work on something and hopefully get something out to all my followers. Would be really neat. I'll try to figure out what that looks like and how to do that. Maybe it's a digital download of a high quality copy of this, or the ability to order the print, some of it. I do worry about some of the copyright, so because of some of it, I might not be able to take money for it. So the best way to support me is, again, following, sharing, sending your love, all those hearts, usually supportive. But I will have some original works on a website for sale coming up soon. I know I've been saying that for like a month now, but it took me so long to work on the previous Dharma Cube, so just kind of thank you so much for the rose, Everdraw, really appreciate that. Oh no, I'm losing my, I have some museum putty too, I wonder if that will gonna help be even more tacky. I wonder if I center you out just a tiny bit here. I mean, the heaviest portion is here, so it should try to hold. Push it back in. There we go. Anyways. Oh, thank you so much for the follow. Senor Fun Computador. Jessica, thank you. Guys, I appreciate that so much. I'm not a typical streamer or content creator. I'm not trying to be. I'm just doing what I do. But it all is so much appreciated. I have no idea. So for those of you just joining and don't know, my story is not really sad. It's not really all that happy either. I have been working on multiple jobs, trying to just create a successful career. I currently work with children with autism. Right now it's more part-time. And every once in a while I get paid decently. But overall, if you look at it for a whole year, it's very low. Very, very low. I don't even think I owe taxes, which, by the way, I gotta do tax. I don't even think I owe taxes from last year, if that helps on how much I've made. I'm trying to get more, but when you work with families and in the home, you're gonna get cancellations. You're gonna get pushback from schools. You're gonna get days, where people are just sick. So there's always something that comes from it. And to put it in short, it's just never easy. And I'm like, I need to do something for myself, so I can do this. And that's kind of what I'm leaning on. But I was let go back in September from a pharmacy position that was in a small town. And if you don't know about small town pharmacies, you can look them up. Basically what's happening is there's the big pharma is kind of pushing the little guys out. And we got new owners, and the new owners decided to go a different direction with things. So I had transferred from another pharmacy to this one, and it sounded really promising. So I started basing my life on it, making decisions, plans based on this job. Like, there was no way I was gonna get let go, basically. They seemed so excited with me, and just like, they were really excited. Basic point, to have me there. And then one day they came in and just said, we're going to go a different direction. I was like, okay, great. It hit me hard. I was depressed for like a month. I didn't really want to do anything. I was mad at everybody. I didn't burn any bridges or like, it just felt ultra fake anytime I was around anyone. You know how Batman puts on a mask to fight crime? Well, my mask was just to, you know, appear normal, essentially. So, and don't go any further with that than where it is. It's just the normal, you know, I'm in my near 40s and just struggling, you know, to make things work. So, a while back, a few months ago, I think it was a couple to few, I was working on a black and white portrait, and I was like, you know what? Trying to do content creation is sometimes difficult, because then you gotta spend more time editing. And I'm like, why don't I just make it so that people can hang out with me while I do this? And that does make me a little nervous, because I am not a kind of person that really enjoys putting all my stuff out there. And that's what I decided to do. So, hence where I'm at. But you guys, I really appreciate the support. Thank you so much. Everdraw, thank you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. So kind of you. Yes. Stay strong. Oh, thank you so much. So, I get asked kind of how do I make some of my transitions look so smooth and go from color to color. The main trick is to go light. And it's time consuming, it's a lot longer, but you get these really nice blends and ability to make things a lot smoother. You also avoid putting too much down too. But this paper is amazing, so it's one of my favorite sketching papers. And a little bit goes a long way. You may not be able to see it all on camera. I apologize again. If I boost it up too much, it looks really bad. So, but this is kind of what it looks like. It's supposed to look reflective and eventually like a thing of goo. But what should be my next drawing? Jessica, Linktree within Amazon wishlist. Dude, okay, I'll check it out. Is that what everyone's doing? I don't even know what Linktree is. Will you message me perhaps and can tell me more about that? Because yeah, I could do that. I could do a Linktree. I imagine it's like a sound. You put all your links or something into it. I gotta make my website. Showcase more of the drawings and sketches I do. Also throw out there, a lot of what I've done is a lot of like kind of master copies and a lot of sketches of just things I like. Because I really enjoy colors and coloring. So that's kind of what I've done in my lifetime. Now, there is a quick method to this. It doesn't look as clean. Maybe I'll do another ditto in the future, and I'll show you kind of what that looks like to achieve a similar result. The only difference is you'll notice the differences in style and kind of what one looks like versus the other. And basically, one just looks a little bit more sketched and rushed through, and then one looks really smooth and gradient and has hints of reflection and different lights bouncing off everything. And that's kind of what we go for when you do realism. Even if it's realism to a certain degree. I'm not trying to make this one look 100% perfectly real or indistinguishable from a photo, but I'm trying to make it look pretty dope, so. That's the goal. Make it look dope. Everdraw, thanks so much for the share. I appreciate that. Alright, so maybe I'll do this. I will, if you guys want me to continue on this one, I will. For like the next 15 minutes, 10-15 minutes. If I get a request, sorry for the coughing. Got dry in here all of a sudden. If I get a request to draw something, another Pokemon, we'll do that. I do have a request already to do a Dedenne Evolved, and I already have some reference material, what I think I'm going to use for that, and we'll see how that goes. And Evolved Dedenne. I like kind of making up stuff, so if you guys have a creative prompt or idea that you want to try out, we'll do that. And see what we come up with. Now I can't do it all from memory, so I will need to figure out some reference material, but just because I also don't know every Pokemon either. I did sketch up a Pikachu last night in my 3DS, and I gave it the black tail. I'm pretty certain I used to draw Pikachu with the black tail, is all I'm saying. So. And these are just Faber-Castell, which one are these? Gold Faber pencils. They're on the cheaper side. They are my favorite sketching color pencil. They work super well. I go through them like bubble gum, but they last for a ton of sketches. Like, and in my other work, I'm usually pressing pretty hard. I did a Mandalorian. If you check out any of my content, should come across Mandalorian. That I did in all color pencil and just regular paper, like regular printer paper. And if I could do it again, I would obviously do it on better paper. But that was just a coloring page, with the focus there being the coloring process. So that also is the other thing too when it comes to sketching and coloring is what's your focus? Is it the complete drawing start to finish kind of work in the sketch, or is it the coloring? But yeah, there was a time I was just experimenting with colors, trying to get things to look realistic. I was going to do a whole series on making color pages look and pop realistically. Yeah, the whole trick to this is just taking your time, staying over the same areas. Microscopically, the wax and the oils and the pencil are building up, and we'll eventually fill in all the little holes and stuff. But as I said, this one is not meant to be perfect. It's 100% perfect. I just want it to look good, like really good, but not to the point where I drive myself nuts and crazy on it. Just having fun. That's the other important thing about art. Have fun. Because it should be. It should be fun. I could even add Copic marker to this first and then go over it to a color pencil. That's another technique. I haven't done that in a while. I also mostly use Faber-Castell brush pit pens. Have a whole nother style involved with that. So maybe I'll have to do a drawing like that too. I think you guys would like that. It's a totally different process, but it's pretty cool. Thank you so much for the likes and the hearts. Appreciate it, guys. Oh, I don't like Doug Step. Or this one. There we go. A little better. Thank you, Joe. I really appreciate that. Yeah, Ditto is a very fun Pokemon here. I even have a grab a little bit. See if I can't paste them too. I almost have like a reference Ditto. I don't know if that'll work very well. Probably gonna end up knocking it off. Let's see here. Maybe. I had gotten that after I started drawing this. If I had it, I probably would have used it as my muse for drawing. But so that would have been a pretty great reference. Oh, okay. So I get asked, why do I go back and forth like this, and then go back to small circles? So the reason for that is I'm essentially creating tracks. I'm kind of blending reference marks. So I know that seems really kind of lame in art terms because like kind of pointless. But it creates a little bit more texture for when I go vertical and do circles, and then it helps me make it really smooth in the drawing. So that's why. It just helps kind of even it out a little bit. But I know that's a weird micro attention to detail, I guess. Honor Guy, thank you so much. Sorry, Horror Guy. Thank you, I really appreciate that. The reference is crazy. Yeah, no, that's not really necessarily the reference, but it's, I don't know. I would have used it if I had it sooner. I mean, I like it. I most certainly would have in any other instance. So, it's those little Lego Ditto. I got a Ditto, I got a Mimikyu that I enjoy making a lot of things, so I have fun. I'm going to be working on a video here in the next week or so, doing a full time lapse of my Dharmakyu. I'm going to make it about a minute long, because it's 80 hours. It takes a lot of time rendering 80 hours of video at HD, all the way down to about a minute. So, sometimes it takes me like a whole day just to get it 16 times or so. Normally, I would have done that in Premiere, but I don't have Premiere anymore. Because I'm broke. Starving artist. Thank you, Org. I appreciate that. with anything that we do well in life comes practice. It takes practice. And they say 10,000 hours to perfect a skill. I don't know what I'm at. I just know I attempt to apply a lot of attention to detail as best I can. Now it's like kind of hard to see, but there is a face on here for this Ditto. But I'll put it right here next to my pencils for now. I can move it down maybe then. Probably be seen a little bit. Okay, what time are we at? 12:08. Oh my gosh, 20 minutes passed. I didn't even feel like 20 minutes passed. Alright, guys. Do you want me to keep coloring this one? Or should we work on another sketch today? The next sketch probably won't take as long as this one. I'll probably color it with a different technique. I haven't decided what that is yet, but maybe we can do a guided exercise one. I mean, should we do something kind of simple like a Voltorb or Electrode? Or Pikachu with a black tail? See if I can't get that shape, those shapes down right. But or are you guys all here for Ditto? For those of you watching on my other channel, I'm going to attempt to up the saturation just a tiny bit. Hopefully I don't screw anything up because of it. Let's see if I can just up it a little. Yeah, see, that's where it starts blowing it out. Let's see if I can just get a little bit on there. Alright, we'll try that. Tiny bit more. It's a little bit closer. Maddie, hello. Goodbye. Hello, goodbye. Thanks for scrolling past, through, whatever. No, guys, I really appreciate your all support. It means a ton. And hopefully we figure out the TikTok issue, and then you guys will have the better quality in camera and everything. Right now, TikTok's being buggy, I guess. The best way to put it. I'm not sure why. Okay, guys, give me 2 minutes. I'm gonna take a quick little break.
stretch a little. Okay. And grab my coffee. Ugh. I do have a Mando figurine. That might be fun. Nah, we'll stick to Pokemon today. So guys, if you're still watching or just joined, let me know what you want to see drawn next. Was planning to do it today. I will keep working on this until we get some. But I do have that Dedenne I was going to attempt to sketch up here. So that's what we're going to do. I just want to get this part done so then I'm focusing on kind of more of the highlights instead of just kind of filling in the base color here. Highlights and shadows and whatnot. So how's that looking so far? Pretty good? It's getting there. So this side is a little bit darker with some bright hard highlights. This side is a lot lighter with some different kinds of highlights, I guess. But I have to translate it because my reference image is on white, so I'm translating it to not white. And then I have to add just a little bit of color here in the shadow even. Gotta sell it, right? Gotta sell the illusion and all that. So, just to kind of show you another one that I've done or have been working on, we did Dogman the other day. A few weeks ago actually, and I started this Gengar, so I could work on that one some more. I wasn't really happy with how I was starting this portion of the fire. I think it'll still come out looking really cool, but I don't know. I'm not entirely sure how I feel about it, so Nay, thank you so much for following. I appreciate that. Guys, you're being so awesome today. I can't even express my gratitude. So, yeah, I ended up going with 2 purple-ish drawings in a row. And, let's change up the color scheme a little bit. I mean, purple's cool and all.
a really neat color. For this one, I can be a little bit more intense with. I just need to pull up my reference here. Just to kind of show you how rough I can essentially get to be in some of these, which is really neat. I'm going with my shadows and blend outward a lot of this. That weird song came on again, didn't it? I like the song like only once. I liked it, hearing it once, and then I'm like, nah, not my jam. I got this belly here. And we got his leg. The more shadows you kind of put in, sometimes the easier it is to kind of see what you're gonna do next, and kind of where your darkest points are. So you gotta make sure you have that value keyed in. That's kind of the most important. So I'll sometimes start with my blackest blacks areas. That's like right here on the lips and, well, I guess if you call it that, the lip line. And pretty much my darkest point. Got it. Kind of flat. I got them really round on here somehow. Dome him out a little. He's not quite a round ball. He's slightly off. Mine looks like a straight up round ball, but maybe it won't when it's shaded in. That's kind of one thing. We got his tail here, and then my other darkest point is right here on his tail, which you just see a little kind of portion of. And got his leg, which should round. But yeah, just start anywhere. That's kind of the whole key, is just starting. You just keep going, one little bit after another bit. He's got this really cool smoke thing going over here. So we'll just kind of fill in some of that. A little bit of detail. So the whole key is to not worry about going too. Don't worry about going too dark in some areas, because you'll be able to kind of fix that. Oh, he's only got 3 toes. What am I doing? And again, don't worry. A lot of it can be corrected. So. Anyways, that's what I'm working on. I'm gonna flip my notebook back over. Just kind of show you some of the other stuff I do that I was talking about. So, a sketchbook for an artist is personal. I got some decent stuff, random stuff. You know, I wasn't sure what I was gonna draw or do, but just started coming up with some things. And I got some really weird off the wall stuff. No idea what I was going for there. But you can see that some are just totally random. And some are not. Some are a little bit more organized. So there's a Bulbasaur. Ewok, for those of you on TikTok. Ewok and ballpoint. Sometimes I just use what I have on me. And that day I had a red ballpoint pen. I did Vision and Wanda, but I'm not as happy with my Wanda. I did Vision. And I don't know if I can show you Wanda. I'm trying to do this. There we go. There's Wanda. I'm not as happy about it. I somehow screwed up some things. And if you don't use a gridded system and you're trying to do like those other methods, that's where that ends up falling in place, where it gets all jacked. My own rendition of Zelda, which was, I think it was taken from some sort of thing, but like I'm going off memory, didn't work out as well. Same with Spider-Man. Here's a Snorlax I worked on. Might work on that again. And that I just use ballpoint pen. Same here. Again, I just draw with what I have. And that's all you, I mean, everyone can do that. You just gotta learn how to use it in different ways. Here's Mando. That's what I was talking about when I use a lot of colors. Focus on color. Made a little kind of poster out of that. A little pop poster so it doesn't complete. It's on purpose. Did one for Ghostbusters. I did. This is the Kong versus Godzilla poster, and I just really liked it and started sketching it up one day while at work. And I just have fun experimenting with colors, random. Here's a Bulbasaur that we need. I need to finish yet on the bottom. Maybe I'll do that someday. This is all dark gravel and chart, but it's coal. It'll look really cool when it's done. Got a Raichu. So that's a very rough sketch of Raichu. And yeah, I don't know how I feel about it all 100%. So see how it goes here. And then Ditto. It looks really cool in person. I'm gonna do some scans of these, and I'll make it so that you can view them online and see them up close and all that. See all the little details, where the grain is, just how much I put into it, as far as how much color gets laid down, stuff like that. Alright, let's try to draw the Denny. See how that goes. We got Dogman. Dogman's cool. This was, just to give you a quick overview of kind of what my process is and what this is here. So this is a color swatch that I do on how I blend certain things. I'm gonna tilt it up for the camera here just a little bit, maybe. I don't know if tilting it up is better or not. But just a little idea of how things blend together. And you can put white down, then purple, then white. You could put, I think I did blue, purple, blue and red to make purple. Just purple, and so on. And then what black looks like with purple. So there's all. Pardon me, I keep losing my voice. There is always different methods to everything, on how you can make it look when it comes to color blending. I find going the lightest is the best, and then essentially what I do is I keep building those layers up. If I went too light, I add a little bit more of the other color. There's other colors that cancel out colors. I think purple cancels out yellow and kind of makes it look more white. But it doesn't. It's kind of weird in color pencil theory, but color theory. But there's all sorts of different options. So sometimes it's just figuring out what works. But I'll do blue and orange to make. Like silver effects and stuff like that. So yeah. Sorry guys, I got distracted with the work email. Been busy. Okay, so we're gonna work on Dedenne, which is kind of like a Pikachu looking Pokemon, and we're gonna see how this goes. And this is evolved Dedenne. It is not. It's not. How do I explain it? It's evolved. I don't think this Pokemon does evolve, so we're creating an evolved version of it. And right now I'm just going to make some reference lines. Kind of see where this goes. I already need to erase some, because where did my eraser go?
Oh, I used it there. I gotta open a new one. Oh, fresh, new, needed eraser is so satisfying. Can't tell you. Anyways. This here's got to be just slightly smaller, slightly different position. That's how you get the, I guess, the look. I'm not sure how I'm going to do these eyes here, but let's see. So like I said, I'm just getting kind of the idea concept here down. We've got like this chubby little rat body, so we're going to add that. It's gotta look cute, right? Got his little arms, little chubby arms with some fingers. And his other arm is gonna come over like this. Somehow. It's just the planning process. What we got? His leg here. His little foot. Okay, doesn't seem like much to get started with, but we're gonna go in and fine tune this a little bit too. So we're gonna use a fresh eraser, pull up some of our lines. This is how I create a lot of my drawings. We're gonna pull up some. Make it real faint, kind of like it's an underlay, like we're tracing the lighter amount here. So once we get to that point, I'm gonna grab one of my other pencils here. What the? There's my other. I was looking for that.
guess I'll use this one. I have a really nice mechanical one somewhere that I like to use. Where's that one at?
There it is. Let's use this one.
Come on. Okay. So this is a roto ring that I like to use. It's a roto ring Rapid Pro. Yeah. I also use a Faber-Castell triangular grip pencil. I've had this forever, and then I got my roto ring. And I like the rotor ring because it has a natural weight to it, which I feel like gives me a slightly steadier hand, but most importantly is the fine tip on it. I don't know if I can get that to focus. The fine tip. So, and for those of you watching on camera, sorry I can't focus it on there, but it's a really fine tip that helps me get a lot of these designs and everything. So I'm going to start with the eyes. I'm just trying to get this a bit more accurate here. I know this looks funny right now, right? And then the nose needs to go over here just a little bit more. So we're doing the 3D-ness of a nose. Just occurred to me I need to make, usually have a Tombow eraser. I think I'm running out of this eraser. Might need to replace it. Okay. I don't know where my Tombow is. Alright, let's see what else I got for an eraser here. This one's got probably semi-decent eraser on it. We're gonna widen the highlights on these eyes just a little bit. Make it a little bigger. Because I think that'll look a little bit nicer. And then we got our nose. Now, I just need to move the mouth over just a little bit. So we're going to have the nose come down here. It doesn't have that, but that's my little reference line. So we're going to do it just kind of like that. then go ahead and just add a little, you know, little reference lines if you need to. If that helps you achieve the result you're kind of going for. I still feel like my head's not quite doing it right. Like it's too round yet again. So let's cut this just a tiny bit. It needs to go just a tiny bit more oval. And having a great outline is what makes half these sketches even work, by the way. So let's do that. His head is so oddly shaped. Kind of does this. So I think that'll work. Because that's pretty much the head. And then the ears start about right here. I'm actually gonna cut this ear, make it look kind of like a dome, like it takes in sound like a super earring, I think is what I'm gonna do. Want it that way. I think that's what I'm gonna do for that one. And then we have this really awesome, almost like a pennant or a jewel that comes from this thing. It's like, I want to say it's like hair. I'm not entirely sure what this one would be, but I think it's cool. I'm gonna make it a little lower too. It doesn't need to stick out prominently. When I was a kid and I used to draw, I used to have these kind of features on some of my Pokemon. And I don't know. Can't explain why I ever did it. I just always kind of thought it was cool. Let's make this just a little bit higher. Yeah, just a little bit on it. So, can you guys make that out? See kind of where it's going? Maybe, maybe not on TikTok. So we're getting there. I know it doesn't look like much now. That's the starting process. And unfortunately, I'm not a cartoonist either, to where I'm just gonna have it all down right away. But if I were, can't tell if that hand's too small at the moment. Let's work on the, so I got the back of the head here. And then let's work on this part of the body. And all little mice kind of have cute butts in cartoons, so we'll give that. We're trying to make this look cute. I mean, that's the whole idea. So I know what's throwing me off. I don't like where I position this hand. That's what it is. Okay, so let's focus on something else here. I got the leg coming up. Kind of like, and there's a knee in this. Okay, I like that. I can go with that. And we got his foot. It's just kind of chilling there. The head's still a little too round, so let's make that a little bit more. This can go up like that. And then we'll bring his cheek around, and then it'll go. Just needs to go a little bit more narrow here. Kind of like Pikachu's head would. But you guys understand the process, I hope. This is what it's like when you're coming up with something kind of new based on something else. It's not a fast cartoony sketch. It can be if you don't mind it being wild, but to come up with a more final product towards the end, that's kind of what it's like. Let's see here. And this leg ended up being just a smidgen too wide, so we're going to make that a little smaller. Like so. Leave some room for the pooch. Sometimes you just gotta keep looking at it different ways, different shapes, and experimenting. Don't be afraid to erase. Unless you draw this character like, I don't know, probably 15 times a day, you're gonna really struggle anyways. And that's okay. Kinda want his body not to be too so we'll just make it a little smaller here. So that looks proportionately a little better. I think that'll be preferred. this going on here. And then I'm not doing his hands very well, am I? I'll figure out the hands later. I want to get the basics of the other things down. He's got this foot that kind of comes over like this. Okay, I'm gonna have to work on his hand because that's still not what I like. Hands are weird. Alright, so that's one portion of it done. We gotta do the other ear yet. Let's get that going here. Like I said, I'm going to give it kind of a domed ear look. Which I think will look pretty neat. Let's see here. And it's an electric type Pokemon. So needs to have some electric bolts. Oh! All mice typically have like a tail. You gotta give it a tail. So let's do that. How do I want this tail to look? Let's see. It's kind of like a Raichu evolution if you think about it. Do something like that, and then let's continue that. Something like that. I don't know. And then I need to make this connect. So then we just run this parallel. is how to connect two weird lines to make it look like one. Just overlap, kind of like you're bending a piece of tape, and then you'll widen it as you go. Just a little shortcut there that takes a lot of the guesswork out, which I think is kind of nice. Pick some of that up. Add a little detail in here. Make it look fluffy. So, essentially, this is our Dedenne. Oh, lightning bolts. That was it. That was the other thing I was going to do. Just do some lightning. Weird hole on my stuff here. Let's and we'll do the same on this side. It's gonna be on like that. So there we go. We got our lightning bolts in there. Alright, so how are we gonna color it? I want to do an evolved version, different concept here. So let's shoot for some vibrant electric colors. In my opinion, are not always just yellow or white. They're blue. Let's say he went a little bit more on the yellow side. So we'll do some of that because of the electricity. A little bit of brown in there. Not such a dark yellow. Pull out my dark brown. Got light brown. Yellow. Slightly different color of yellow. And then blues. Let's see what we got here. Different blues. Another blue. I think that'll be it. I think that's what we'll do for that. Alright, let's color this in. But yeah, so, you know, these sketches aren't all that difficult. They can be kind of easy, fun, and whatnot. You know what we could do first? Nah, I don't know if I want to do an outline. I think I'm going to use dark brown for the some of the finer details. Instead of black, I was going to do black. So just like that. And then I'm going to do dark brown. Now this falls into color theory. It's more advanced. But we don't actually use, in color theory, we don't typically use black. Despite cartoons and everything, when you're working on certain drawings, using other colors actually can make it pretty interesting. So, we tend to use slightly different things. I need a red. I have a red somewhere. I don't have a red quickly available. Okay, let's see what I got. Here's a red. Use that one. The other trick when doing very fine details is make sure you have a perfectly sharpened tip. Helps. Makes all the difference. And just like my other works, we're going to do small little circles. As such. And then I'm going to do hot pink. I could do a lighter tone right in here. I'm just going to do hot pink, keep it simple. And then go in with a little bit of white to lighten that little spot in his mouth. Go back over with hot pink because that was too white. So you can kind of see my process there. Now we have this little area where it's got a shadow. You can just go in and lightly add a little. I usually do brown. Other times I'll do green, but I want it to look warm. It's a tongue. It's red. We're just going to add a tiny bit of brown in here to give it that slight shadow on the tongue, which you won't be able to see until I zoom in more. So, but that makes it look just a tiny bit more 3D. I'm going to blend this together just a tiny bit, add a little bit of brown, so it looks a little more seamless. And that's essentially how I'm doing the mouth on that piece. The nose is black. Just I can't hold on to anything. And I do have a black here. Because the nose is so fine and tiny, I'm just gonna leave a little bit for the white in there. Round it off slightly. Then I'll go in with my white. I'm just gonna. The other method for this is to use a I use a whiteout kind of ink, and that works really, really well. It's not apparently in this particular thing of mine, but it works really well and makes it look stellar. But sometimes you get too much out too, so you gotta be careful how you use it. But it can really pop on paper. So So that makes it pretty exciting. Alright, so we got a little bit of areas on the yellow where it's going to be kind of slightly darker, so we're going to use this one here. It is a 187 on the gold fabric list. It's kind of like a brownish. I like to think it's more like gold. But this bottom half needs to come down just a tiny touch more. So that's what we'll do. Start that there. We're going to add more over here. And sometimes it's okay to leave some of the graphite on there and everything. It kind of, to me, blends in some of the shadows and whatnot. And if we have to, we'll erase some, but I'm okay with it right now. It's working out in my favor. So. Then I spoke too soon, because right here I'm going to erase some of the graphite. His ear goes into there. So I'm essentially doing my shadows right now. Essentially you would add green for yellow in some of these areas to create shadows. I want this to look a little more vibrant. So I'm using this one instead. Kind of create some of my shadow work. Starts it out anyways. Delete some of my highlights there. So, this might seem like a really long process, but it's really not so bad, especially if you got a couple hours to kill throughout the day. build that up a little bit. We'll go under here. Build up some of the other area, shadow. It's gonna have a deeper chin shadow. Now what this does, adding an undertone like this, is help kind of tone the paper naturally already. And when you go in to add your other colors, it's gonna, your other base color is just gonna go right over the top and look really cool, kind of out the gate. So it's a necessary formality when coloring to kind of incorporate some of these. Okay, so we got that one done, as far as I know, as far as I want to do. We can go in with our yellow. And almost everything's gonna get a touch of that yellow. I want to erase just a hint of my graphite up here. Just so it's not so prominent in my lighter colors. Yeah, I really should have went through and probably had done that, but I want to be able to put some highlights in, so that's kind of where you need to. I also want to point out also, if I had a bigger collection of a lot more colors, this would be a lot different of a process too. And what I would be able to accomplish in the time restraint. So, again, don't be discouraged. Don't be discouraged. Use what you have. And eventually it all comes together. And I'm putting down a significant amount of color here and pigment, as they call it. So it's not getting anything shy of some color and pigment in this process. Now the other trick is cross hatching. We do a lot of cross hatching, and that's what helps bring out some of the other colors and things. So don't be afraid to cross hatch. It all helps. But you notice I use brown here. It doesn't even look brown, so it's weird because it ends up looking black anyways because of the colors you put around it. So that's something to keep in mind. As I add more in here. You know what I didn't do? Didn't erase this line I didn't want. So I'll get that erased. It's alright, it's a sketch. Happens. I guess. I don't know. Yeah, it's really hard going from graphite to sometimes, and you'll see a lot of artists use, they'll go into using pen and outline and then do their drawing. Or sometimes they will draw it. Here's another tip. Draw it. Use black ink, make your outline, and then when you go to color, use a light board. Is another method too. That works out pretty decently. So. Guys, I really appreciate all the likes and all the follows and everything. Thank you so much. Sorry to keep asking. If you haven't already, please follow. Share, subscribe, whatever. Your support means everything to me. And the best way to help me out right now, ask your questions. I'm doing requests all week for different Pokemon. Or different, I don't know. It doesn't have to be all Pokemon, but monsters in general, you know. It's all getting a little bit of love. So. Alright, so I need to come up with a different texture for the belly though. When we get to that point. That's gonna be a little interesting. You can see what it does. It kind of gives it a little bit of shape and tone already. a lot more yellow than I thought it was going to be. But again, that's okay. We're going to tone it down. We'll see. And I think these other tones will kind of balance it out a little bit too. So we'll go from there. I still don't like this hand. Let's see if I can fix that. It just doesn't, that one finger is just terrible. Doesn't quite look right. So if I can remove that whole finger right here, that's what I'm gonna do. Just keep working it. We're gonna bring that down here, like so. That's what we're gonna do. Where'd my little brown liner go? That might be a little better. Because there is an outline to this, but I don't want to do that just yet. We're going to connect those. Bring in all the color here, blend it. I have another sketching method I think you guys will find really cool. I'll do that on one of the next ones. Alright, let's do our blues here. I have my cool aqua, almost like aquamarine blue. 156. I'm just gonna paint with it, essentially. I'm just adding strokes. I'm not worried about pressure or tone too much right now. I'm just adding some things to it because I'm going to do some blending with it. Make it look really cool. And then with this fire spark area, I'm going to leave an area for the higher fire spark. For the spark area, I'm going to leave a reflection, a little spot for white, and bring this all the way around like so. And again, I'm doing more strokes. That gives me that really cool gradient look, which we all kind of enjoy. There's my little eraser. Don't worry about already having erased some of your line work. That's okay. So I think you can see a little bit where some of my ideas are going. Just roughly color in some of this. And then continue. dark blue. Which one do I want? Let's go with this one. See how I like it. Now we got a little bit of a shadow in here. We're gonna grab our trusty brown and darken this up just a little. And then we'll go back on top of blue. Anytime you do shadows, make sure you really hug that line. That's your darkest point. That's what gives the illusion of depth. You want to hit it with the gradient hard so that it looks right. Otherwise, you won't get that depth feel to it. And in some regards, the darker it is, the further away it is. So that's where all that kind of comes in. Take our darker blue. Wait, hold on. Yeah, darker blue, less saturated blue. Go back over it. And we're going to blend it in with this regular blue. Now, if it starts looking too saturated, we just go back in with our darker brown and add a little more until we get the desired result we want. That's kind of the importance of not going too dark right away. Pushing too hard on the pencil. Because we want to be able to do this. Kind of get that blend going. Now, if you have a good reference image, this part is kind of easy. You won't stress yourself out too hard piecing it together. So, don't stress. I'm going to use my white and go in here and blend this in. I'm sort of just trying to merge it together just a little bit. Bring out some of that blue just a little bit more from the page. Just very light pressure.
Alright, I am getting messages, but I'm not seeing where they are, so I apologize. Let me see if I can find out. Okay, I refreshed the chat. Try again. I apologize. I think it might just not be updating. So we'll see. And then we have a little bit of a dark blue on the reverse side here. This will sell our illusion of 3D. Saturate our here up here a little bit with some other colors to get this to blend just a little better. We're going to add our blue, highly saturated blue. Slightly area. So you could probably see the amount of care you put into it. Just a little bit goes a long way, and then you get this really cool effect going to where it looks, you know, almost kind of 3D and whatnot. You just keep going until you get the desired look. You'll feel it out. It's like they say, trust the process. Now the inside of the ear is the part where I'm gonna be hurting myself because I need to find a color that'll work for that. I don't know that I have a yellow that's also part green. I think I might be able to just take, I might have one, let me see, a light green and go with that, but I might have some sort of green. Dark greens. What do I have? What do I have? I have a really dark green. Man, they just keep dropping every pencil. Couldn't hold on to them to save my life. Not really pushing them in either, but... Oh, I do have neon yellow. I have this green. I don't have this green. Oh, I even have other blues.
I think these two are the same. Yeah, those two are the same. So let's see.
I have this neon yellow, but I have like no idea how it's gonna look. So let's use a scratch sheet here. It's gonna be way too bright. So I might just mix a little bit of green with yellow, and we'll go from there. Try to make that happen. Might be the best way. Oh, thank you, Jose. I appreciate that. I'm glad that you like them. Who's your favorite Pokemon, Jose? I might do a little green, and then a little bit of brown. We'll see if we can't get that to look like a very muddied yellow. Some of the restrictions when you have limited colors. I'm using the green to mute out some of the brown, and some of the tone of the tan is kind of what I'm going off of. And then we'll add our yellowish color in there. So, you love all of them? Yeah, I like a lot of them too. I like Pikachu also. This is a Dedenne, which is supposed to be kind of like a Pikachu version, and it evolved. Dedenne doesn't normally evolve in the games, so... Oh, thank you. Yeah, no, I try to be. But, yeah, so this is an evolved version of Dedenne. It was originally a little bit more brown, but I'm kind of going backwards on it a little bit. So, right now I'm just trying to muddy this down a little bit as best I can. I'm just gonna try to give it an illusion of looking like the tone I want it to be. Which isn't yellow, but it's like this light tone, belly, the same colors here. I don't really have that, so I'm trying to sort of mock it up here. And that yellow looks amazing. I'm gonna remember that. The thank you so much, Jose. I really appreciate that.
And thank you. I hope you have a great day too. I'm not sure what happened in this spot. Like why there's brown there. I don't want brown though. There we go. I might have to do another version of this at some point, and just see if I mess around with it a little more if I like it. But I'm just kind of, this is becoming a whatever kind of sketch. So if you like it, show your support. It's always appreciated. Yeah, it's looking kind of cool. I think, anyway. And I'm probably taking a little bit more time, but I'm kind of creating, the way I see it is I'm creating my reference right here of what I'm going to do everywhere else. So spend a tiny bit more time on it. Just a tiny bit. And then what becomes really cool about all this. So I got highlights in here. I need to finish rounding this off. This is where my highlights go. So it kind of creates a I'll use that really bright yellow I had for some highlights as well. Just put those in where I know they need to go. So you can see how that gets used a little bit. And then we're going to go under white and blend this all in. I'm just pulling a little bit off. I'm not gonna totally desaturate this, but the whole idea is that I'm trying to use the paper tone to achieve a certain look. Being resourceful, essentially. So, now we need to add a little bit of shadow. Anyways, I hope you guys are enjoying the process here. boy, I'm coming up on 3 hours. Guys, I haven't even had lunch yet today. It's crazy. You know what, this one worked out really well. It's a olive green. I'll have to remember that for shadows. The olive green works really well on tone tan paper. Yeah, I'll do that again. That worked out nicely. Olive green. I don't know if this is a darker yellow or not. Yeah, it is, but It's getting there. Almost done. At least with what I'm gonna do today. Let's get this blended in too. We are getting there. Oy. Seriously, can't hold on to a single one. Like this whole time. Oh, gosh. Means I'm getting tired, and I should probably stop soon. So, what's interesting is once you get to this point, you kind of just keep adding things to saturate, you know, and that's kind of a cool feeling. You just keep adding things that you like. Eventually it's gonna get there. So that's what makes it kind of fun. Hello. So anyways, it's coming together. It's looking decent. It's not great, perfect yet. Let's add a little bit more shadow under the neck. I think will help kind of divide this up a little bit. Some of the energy here. getting there. We got to add a little more shadow in here, just a little bit. Kind of get it all blended a little better. Something like that. Smooth out some of this brown here. See, yeah, I know it seems like it takes forever, huh? But I promise it's not as bad as it appears. we gotta do the eyes at some point too. Let's finish up this tail. It's the only thing that kind of has a tiny bit of black in it. At least I'm going to. There you have it. Kind of there. Just gotta get this looking a little bit more right. Should widen right around the loop. And gives it depth, just a tiny bit. I'm not looking for a lot. So we'll just, if we made any tiny mistakes, we'll just narrow it out. Make it a bit more solid. Like so. Add our hard line. Color it in. Add a tiny bit of blue. It's gonna look really cool when we do our highlights. I'll just do blue up here on this half since I have it in my hand. I'm starting to get really hungry, so not trying to rush this, but these are the unimportant details that are not focal points technically, so these can be a little bit, as long as it looks aesthetically accurate and pleasing to the drawing, I think we'll be good. So, I mean, that's kind of the idea behind that. So it's got to look right to the drawing. So, where's my white? Blend that together a tiny bit. Just So, and then we got the eyes. Wrong pencil sharpener. Okay. And sorry if I'm in the way of the camera at all. You gotta see what I'm doing. It's really fine work here. It's really up close on it. Got an alert. Okay, so now we just need to finish the last bit of it, which isn't that hard. It's kind of the fun part. So what we do here is we're gonna outline the wow, I had so many pencils out, I didn't even realize it. We're gonna outline this and give it a really cool pop from the page. I could do a couple different things. I could do a lightning bolt of it, or Pokemon go around the outside, like pop. Kind of makes it almost look like a sticker. The way I would kind of describe it. So there you go. That's all there is. We did it, Denny. Now the only thing left is to put kind of like what it is and all that. I don't know what you would name a evolved. So if anyone has any ideas, that's what we'll work on. We'll work on naming this one, and then we'll pick it up again. In the meantime, I will sign this with my dull pencil. It is the we're still in March. 3, 24, 25. That's what I usually sign them with. But let me know what you think. Is it cool? Is it kind of cool? Could be cooler. I might work with this a little bit more, but I so far kind of neat. So let's get a picture. We'll post it on TikTok later. My lens is all. I know it's nothing too special. It's just a sketch, guys. Maybe we'll figure out a way to speed this up a tiny bit. But yeah, this particular Dedenne looks more like a Pikachu after it's all said and done. I'm so used to drawing Pikachu as far verse, but I also had limited color, so just go with it. You know, that's how it goes. So, anywho, we did it. We drew it. It's done. Thanks, guys. Have a wonderful rest of the day.